All right, so we're gonna start our practice in some sort of a heart bench. As I said, I'm using blankets here, or a blanket rolled up, and then you kind of see the position. The lower part of the blanket is towards my low back. If you're using a bigger pillow, just make sure that you don't have a really big arch in this low spine. You want your low spine to be kind of neutral, and you want the positioning to allow something to be under your head. So if you need to grab something extra to put under your head, go ahead and do that. The idea is our prop here, whether it's blanket, pillow, or yoga blocks, is kind of pushing up in between your shoulder blades along the spine and supporting the spine. And then what we do is we just let gravity kind of pull the shoulders and the arms towards the floor. This is supposed to be somewhat relaxing and comfortable. There's a lot going on in your shoulders. It might be anything but that. So I want you to just adjust maybe where your arms are in space. Think of like the snow angel movement. You want to pick some position around your snow angel range of motion where you can just let the arms relax. Elbows can be just slightly bent, I'll say. And then I just want you to close your eyes and take a few slow, deep breaths here. And really notice when you take a nice full breath in and when you let that breath out, how your body kind of shifts a little bit along this prop. And maybe noticing left side might feel different than right side. You might even notice some areas of tension, almost like if you think about when you get a massage and the massage therapist finds like a little muscle knot and they kind of work on it with their thumb or their elbow, whatever your massage therapist's choice of body parts are, and they kind of work on that tissue, and it's a little uncomfortable and unpleasant, but hopefully it's relieving the muscle. See if you can do that with your breath. So if you take a big deep breath in and you kind of move against one of those unpleasant little corners, go as deep as you can, and then exhale, let the breath out, and try to keep yourself nice and relaxed as you do that. From here, we're going to lift our arms out in front of us and just do a really gentle hug. Right arm underneath left arm, kind of walking your fingers behind your body. Think about drawing your elbows up towards the sky a little bit. And then as you exhale, drop your shoulder blades down towards the ground. This might make that little sensation of the muscles inside the shoulder blades even more intense or more obvious. Do a couple of those. Inhale, feel like your elbows go up. Exhale, your shoulder blades drop down. Inhale, pull your elbows up. Exhale, drop your shoulder blades down. One more like that. And then just go ahead and switch the lineup of your arms. So your left arm is going underneath your right for this little hug. Pull your elbows up towards the sky. Exhale, drop them down towards the ground. Inhale, elbows up towards the sky. Exhale, drop them down. 2 more times like that. 1 more. And then go ahead and release your arms by your side. And just bend your knees if they're not already. Put feet on the floor. And we're just going to roll over to one side. And then bring yourself up to sit. Finding a nice comfortable position, maybe moving that, if you have props, move them out of the way. Or if you feel like your hips are tight, you can sit on that prop just as you come to your starting position. It's almost like that heart bench was a pre-posture, pre-class posture. So come to sit nice and tall. Drop your chin towards the notch of your throat. Notice as you do that we get a nice kind of stretch through the spine, maybe in through the shoulder blades a little bit too. And then give the head a little rock from side to side, like you're ringing a bell. Noticing the stretch through one side of the neck versus the other. And then bring your face forward. Eyes are closed. Take a nice big deep breath in. Fill the torso with that breath in. And sweep the arms out wide to the side. Exhale, bring the hands down through heart center. Keep the spine long, but just bow the head just a tiny bit. Set an intention for your practice today. Take one slow, deep breath in here. Exhale, let that breath out with a sigh. Go ahead, release your hands onto the floor. And let's take our fingertips on the floor. And you're just kind of walk them out to the side. I want you to tent your right fingertips. Push them into the ground. Sit up tall. Exhale, drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. And then just bring your left hand, kind of resting it on the side of the head, giving a really subtle tug. So we get a stretch through this kind of right shoulder, right neck. Keep that left hand where it is. Inhale, let the right arm float up off the ground. Turn your right thumb down towards the floor and then swing that right arm behind your back. And you're gonna kind of scooch the right hand as far over to the left as it can go. Take a big deep breath in and feel your bottom ribs on the front and the back fill with air. And then when you exhale, let the breath out, kind of feel that bottom of the rib cage recede in. You're just gonna take a couple breaths like that and notice the right hand and the right arm pressing against the back of the ribs. Inhale here, exhale, let that breath out. Really work on the right shoulder staying down. The muscles underneath the right shoulder blade might need to engage a little bit. One more breath in. Exhale, release both arms. Bring your face forward and bring your hands back out onto the floor, making those little tented fingertips. Fingertips are on the floor. Draw your elbows back in space. Get nice and tall. Elbows and your shoulders, I think is the body part I meant to say. Right ear towards the right shoulder. Right hand's gonna kind of rest on the left side of the head, so you give yourself just a little hint of extra stretch. You're not pulling too hard. Take a couple slow, deep breaths in here. And then we're gonna inhale, float that left arm up. Rotate the arm so that your thumb points down to the floor. And then exhale, sweep that left arm behind the back. Like you can even see my right fingertips kind of poking out the side here. See how far you can get that arm behind your back. Right about the height of the bottom of your ribs. And then you're gonna breathe and you're gonna focus on the bottom of your ribs. As they inhale, they're kind of expanding out. Front and back, you might even feel them expanding out a little bit side to side. Really work on creating space there without allowing tension to creep up into the shoulders. And it's perfectly reasonable to believe if you've got like a back or a shoulder tweak happening, that it might be hard to take those full breaths. So just kind of play within your, whatever's working in your body right now. All right, go ahead, exhale, release those arms. Give them a little shake. Inhale, let's sweep the arms up overhead. You're gonna bring palms to face one another. So if I were holding yoga blocks over my head, I probably have 2, but maybe even like 3 blocks. They're kind of wide, wider than your shoulders. I want you to draw your triceps forward, your thumbs back, and then press into this imaginary space like you're smushing the air. As you press in, drop your shoulders down, lift your chest up. Nice big deep breath in here. And then exhale, we're gonna twist over to the right. Left hand comes forward, right hand comes behind you. I'm just kind of pressing the back of my left hand on my right knee. Sit up tall, inhale. Exhale, look left. And as you look left, maybe drop your left chin, or drop your chin towards that left shoulder. Couple of big deep breaths in here. Again, focusing on that area, kind of bottom of the rib cage, maybe even down a little bit further as you twist. And then go ahead and come back to center. Inhale, sweep the arms up again. You're finding that spot, maybe about 2.5 to 3 yoga blocks wide. Press into this imaginary space. As your triceps bend forward, thumbs push back, shoulders drop down, but spine lengthens. Inhale here. And then exhale, twist left. Left hand goes behind, right hand on the left knee. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist around. And then once you've kind of got the spine rotating as far left as you can, then just the top part, the neck turns, face towards the right shoulder, and maybe that right shoulder drops down. Good, take a nice slow deep breath in here. And then exhale, unwind, shake the arms out a little bit here, whatever direction feels good. Ooh, let's do a little bit of wrist. So extend your arms out in front of you. If your shoulders are tight, or if this causes kind of tension in the back, you can also make like a little kickstand for your arms. You know what, I'm gonna take that back. Let's all make a little kickstand with our arm. And just have your fingertips point down as I'm resting them on my thighs. I'm trying not to move my arms at all, except for the wrist. You're gonna inhale, fingertips up, and then exhale, fingertips down. Inhale, sweep them up. Exhale, take them down. Notice if your shoulders are trying to move a lot, just have this be wrist. Maybe a little finger too. One side might feel a lot different from the other. You might even be able to see you have better range of motion on one versus the other. Go ahead and switch. So now your palms are up like you're carrying something, and then exhale, drop your fingertips towards the floor. This one's hard for me. Inhale, take them up. Try to keep your hands relatively straight. Exhale, drop them down. Inhale, take them up. Good. Our hands really kind of want to make fists in this position, but try to have this be as much as you can. Like your hands are paddles, and they're just going up and down. All right, and now you're going to go palms flat out in front of you. And we're going to inhale, bring the fingertips towards one another. Exhale, thumbs out to the side. Notice if your hands kind of collapse in. You just want to imagine you're trying to run your hands like underneath a flat surface. Inhale in, exhale out. Again, you might visibly be able to see a big difference left versus right. Most of us have a lot of disparity in the wrists. Okay, and then palms flat down as if your hands are on top of a table. Inhale, bring your fingertips towards one another. Exhale, take them out. Notice if your shoulders are moving. Notice if your elbows are moving. Try to keep them as still as possible. And then go ahead, just flap your arms around. Make some little wrist circles. One direction, then the other. Good. See lots of fun hands flapping in the screens. All right, go ahead, come to hands and knees. Actually, since we're doing all this, take your yoga mat. You can tell how many times I go off tangent of my planned class by the times I say, oh, actually, let's do this. So this is all off on the tangent. I've rolled up my yoga mat about 2 times, just so I've got a little bit more cushion underneath my hands. And the other thing is with the hands underneath the heel of the hand and the palm, it kind of reduces the angle of your wrist, which could make downward dog feel a little nicer. So I want everybody to look at your arms, bend your elbows, squeeze those elbows in towards you, or in towards one another, curl your toes, lift your hips, downward dog. Notice if when you get into that downward dog, those elbows want to rotate out to the side. Keep drawing them back towards the knees, chest towards the ground. And even though you've got this rolled up mat, can you put some weight into your fingertips on the floor? Give your head a shake, yes. Give your head a shake, no. Take a nice big deep breath in here. Exhale, let's bring knees to the ground. Uncurl the toes, come into a child's pose, keeping your hands on that little bumper. And I want you to roll onto the pinky toe. No, these are your pinky fingers. Pinky finger side of your hand so that your thumb's pointing up. Just reach your fingertips forward in space. Draw your shoulder blades back in space. Take a big deep breath in here and feel that bottom of the rib cage movement. You might feel that kind of moving against your legs. It might feel like a stretch on the back. All right, and then go ahead and come back up. Palms down on your little bumper here. Fingertips on the floor. Shift back, downward dog. Let's take some let's do some big steps here. Bend one knee, then the other, so we really stretch out the backs of the legs. And then go ahead, lift both heels up. Exhale, drop both heels down. Inhale, lift both heels up. Exhale, drop them down. Put a little bend to your knees. Walk your feet slowly, deliberately up to the top of your mat. Once you get up there, go ahead and roll your mat out. We'll grab hold of opposite elbows. We got a little bend in the knees, so my back doesn't tense up. I'm gonna shake my head, yes. And then no. I'm gonna change the lineup of my forearm so that the opposite forearm is in front and do that same thing. A little yes, and a little no. Drop the arms. Inhale, roll all the way up to stand. Coming up to the top of your mat. Big toes touch, a little bit of space between the heels. Inhale, sweep the arms up nice and tall. And then exhale, fold yourself forward. Bring hands to the shins. Inhale, lengthen the spine, lift the chest. Let's exhale. Step the right foot back into a nice long lunge. And bring that right knee down onto the ground. Uncurl the toes. Pad up under that knee if you need to. We're walking our hand up onto the left thigh. Drop the shoulders down. Lift the chest up. Collarbones are wide. Let's take the hands behind the back and you're gonna bring thumbs, whoops, I just fell over, right to that little SI joint, those little dimples on either side of the low back. Thumbs in there, draw your elbows back in space, lift your chest, lengthen your spine. As you do this, feel like your shoulder blades drop down the back. Maybe drop your chin towards the notch of your throat. Kind of notice how that changes where the stretch is. And then go ahead and look back up. Back of the neck is nice and long. If you want extra stretch here, you can take those arms behind your back, interlace your fingers, maybe slide them down the back of the right leg. Take a big deep breath in here. And then exhale, release. Hands to the floor. Curl the back toes under. Step back to a downward facing dog. Big deep breath in that downward dog. Exhale, let that breath out. Inhale, come forward, high plank like the top of a push-up. Heels press back, heart reaches forward. Let's bring the knees to the ground. Uncurl the toes, press the toenails down. Lay yourself onto the floor, trying to get those hands lining up with the bottom of the rib cage. Pull your elbows back in space. Inhale, lift your chest, baby cobra. See how that feels? Curl your toes. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. We're just gonna go right to the other side. Inhale, right foot lift. Exhale, right foot steps all the way forward between the hands. Back knee down onto the ground. Uncurl the toes, press down. Walk your hands up. Again, kind of finding low back area, those thumbs on those little SI joints. Pull your elbows towards one another. Lift your chest, lengthen your spine, look up. Try to sink the hips down as you lift the heart up. And notice how this feels different. Chin down towards the notch of the throat versus lifted it up. Try not to crane through the back of the neck. And again, if you did it on the other side, you can interlace your fingers, do the opposite lineup of fingers, and then pull those knuckles down towards the floor, lift the chest, lengthen the spine. Breathe in here. Exhale, release, hands to the floor. Uncurl the back toes, lift that back knee. Step up to the top, fold. Inhale, come on up to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, fold right back over. Hands are on the shins. Inhale, lengthen the spine. This time, let's exhale, left foot back into a lunge. Give yourself a little bit of space, left to right, because we're going to come up into a high lunge. Left hip is pulling forward, right hip's pulling back. Drop your shoulders down. So we're going to do a little shoulder stretch here. You're going to take your left arm and you're going to swing it across your body and catch your left wrist with your right hand and give yourself a little pull. Almost like you're trying to pull yourself into a twist, but you're going to keep your torso pointing forward. Keep yourself nice and deep in that lunge. And just use the strength of the right arm to stretch the left shoulder. Maybe you can kind of push your, this isn't a graceful look. This isn't a pretty look usually. But drop your chin kind of onto your shoulder. And that pressure may increase a little bit of that stretch. One more breath wherever you are. And then inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, we'll do hands to the floor inside that front knee. So coming into a lizard lunge, your choice if the back knee is up or down, and your choice if you stay up high or start to lower down. If elbows on the floor seems intriguing, but a little too hard, you can always put a block or a pillow underneath your elbows. We're gonna take 3 big breaths here, and I want you to hold that right knee into center as you pull your right hip back in space. Left hip pulls forward, spine stays nice and long, collarbones are wide. And if you are on your elbows, you're gonna come up, take a nice big deep breath. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. From that downward dog, inhale, come forward, high plank, top of a push-up. We're coming all the way to the ground. Your choice if you lower your knees first or not, but think about bringing your chest forward, come all the way down. So then those bottoms of the hands line up with the bottoms of the ribs. All 10 toes are on the floor. Inhale, lift your chest, lengthen your spine. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Take a nice big deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Keep those elbows moving back towards your legs. We're gonna inhale, left foot lifts up. Exhale, bring that left foot all the way forward between your hands. Come on up into your high lunge. Right hip pulls forward, left hip pulls back. Collarbones are wide. We're gonna open the arms up. We'll do that little shoulder stretch. So you're gonna take your right arm, swing it across your body. Left hand's gonna do like an underhanded grip and just pull. So as if you pulled really hard, you'd kind of turn to the side. But you're gonna keep your torso pointing forward, and that'll probably increase that stretch through this kind of upper shoulder area, or like front of the shoulder. And again, if you wanna play with your chin here, pushing the chin into that shoulder might increase your stretch sensation a little. It also makes it harder to breathe a lot of times. So just kind of play with it. See if you notice anything different. One more breath. And then exhale, hands to the floor, lizard lunge. Knee up or down. Coming down lower or staying up high. Wherever you go, you want to hug that left knee into center. Left hip pulls back in space, right hip pulls forward. Try not to let your shoulders collapse to the floor. Chest stays open. And then we're going to walk ourselves back up. And we're gonna exhale, step the back foot forward, forward fold, top of the mat. Give the head a little shake. Soft bend in the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold yourself all the way forward. Hands are on the shins. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step back, high plank. Take a nice slow, deep breath into this high plank. And then let's exhale, come all the way down to the floor again, and come into a Sphinx pose. So elbows right underneath the shoulders, chest is open, collarbones are wide. You're gonna pick up your left hand and then just kind of move it over to the right on the diagonal. We'll bend the right knee, and you're gonna try to grab that right foot. If it seems far away, grab a strap or something. And you're just drawing that right foot in towards the hip. Bringing your right hand to the inside of the right foot and kind of drawing your right elbow in towards center is going to increase that shoulder stretch, but it also might start to push the pose over onto the left. So you really want to drive the right side of your body down into the floor. Take a nice big deep breath in here. Check in with your knee, make sure it's okay with this pose. And then carefully exhale, release. Bring the elbows onto the ground. Lift your chest, draw your shoulders back in space. We're picking up the right hand, moving it over to the left. Bend the left knee, reach back behind. Maybe starting with that outside of the foot grab. Try to keep the chest lifted. Collarbones wide, and then if you want to play with the position of your left hand so you get a different grip, go for that. Left elbow pulls into center if you can do that, but keep that left hip driving towards the ground and keep the inner knees trying to pull towards one another. Take a nice big deep breath here. And then exhale, go ahead, release your feet to the ground. Actually, let's bring both feet up. Give a little wiggle side to side, a little windshield wipering. Feeling the weight of your legs roll across the ground. And then let's put your feet back on the ground. This time you're gonna go toes curled under. We're gonna come up into like a little mini plank. So I want you to bring your hands so they line up with the ribs. Elbows pull in towards one another. You can keep your knees on the ground. Let's do it together. Let's do knees on the ground. Engage those abdominal muscles. Try not to tense up your neck. Come up. Great. Actually, I didn't see any of them, but I'm assuming they're all fantastic. You can do that again with knees on the ground, or you can try it with knees off. Press through the heels. Elbows pull back in space, neck is long, press into the ground. On an exhale, lift yourself up. Downward facing dog. Inhale, let's lift the left foot up behind us. And then exhale, step that left foot all the way forward between the hands. Come up, high lunge, big deep breath in. And then exhale, open up, warrior two. Feel where your hips are in space. You don't want them kind of falling. You want to keep right and left lined up with one another. Knee over ankle, bring your arms out long. Flip both of your palms up and see how the shoulders kind of drop down. Keep the shoulders dropping down. Hug those front bottom ribs in, and then just turn your hands back around. Get as long as you can here, finger to finger, or fingertips to fingertips, without letting those shoulders creep back up. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, we're gonna straighten the left leg. Reach forward, keep those arms long, keep the shoulders moving away from the ears, and then tip, left hand down, right hand up. Kind of had I'm a little teapot feel to it. Really in controlled movement without letting the shoulders crop up. Let's take the right hand, that's the one on top. Rotate your thumb behind you. Drop that arm behind your back. Just like we were breathing before, pull those ribs back into your hand and breathe. Looking up is harder to balance. Usually a little more work on the neck. Looking down, easier to balance, and usually a better stretch on this top shoulder. So do whatever you want to do for 2 more breaths. And then we're going to push into the feet. I want you to reach your left hand forward, spin your palm up. Inhale, come up like a reverse or a radiant triangle pose. Exhale, rebend that left knee. And then go ahead, release your arms, bring them back out long. Big deep breath in here. And then exhale, just hands to your hips. Pick up the left toes. Turn the left toes to face the same direction as the right. And let's come into a forward fold. I'm realizing as we get into this forward fold that we have not done a whole lot of hamstring stretching yet. So let's proceed with caution here. Maybe rock a little bit front to back. Try not to lock out your knees. You're gonna fold yourself forward, or I should say fold yourself a little deeper. Maybe walk those hands back in space. And then again, rock a little bit front to back. And you want to find a little bit of a tipping point as you go forward where, oh, the heels want to come up, the butt wants to lift up, but you're going to keep your heels on the ground. Just lean forward, lift the tailbone, drop the head. Kind of waking up those hamstrings. So adding a little twist here. We're going to walk the hands forward. You're going to keep your right fingertips in that little tented out on the ground. If your hamstrings are really tight, feel free to put your hands on a block or on a table. We're going to take the left hand and we're going to sweep it around and see if we can catch the right outer thigh, calf, or ankle. And see where you can go. Push those right fingertips into the floor. Look under your right armpit. And I want you to, while you're doing this, take big, deep breaths and feel like you can breathe through this whole right side of the torso, kind of from the outer hip, through those lat muscles, through the right shoulder blade. Breathe in there. And then we'll switch. So left hand's coming up like a little TP hand. Take your right hand, reach under, see how far down that left leg you can grab. Maybe walk those left fingertips up a little more. Pull your hips back in space as you use the strength of that right arm to rotate. Maybe you're looking under that left armpit. And then I want you to breathe. See how long you can get on the left side. And then go ahead and walk your hands back to center. Bring them onto your hips, come up to stand. We're gonna take those heels, pull them into center. So we're in a goddess pose. Drop your hips down. Lift your chest up. Drop your shoulders down. Lift your chest up. Bring your arms out to the side. Turn your palms up. Elbows into the body. Collarbones are wide. And we're just gonna take little twists here. Try not to move your lower body. You're just rotating your upper body. Think like a weather vane on top of a building. I think they're on top of barns now that I think about it. You know, just kind of letting that slide in the breathe without the foundation, without the structure moving. One more like that. And then hands to your hips, straighten those legs. You're going to just switch sides. So we're going to go to the left side. So, I'm sorry, the right side. You're going to turn your right toes out. Hands on the hips. As you bend the right knee, you're coming into warrior two. All of a sudden, I'm feeling like I might forget a pose or something. So keep me honest if I forget one. Hips are square, shoulders drop down. Bring the arms up. Do that little check. Palms go up. Front ribs knit in. There's a lot of action in the arms, but not a lot of action in this kind of chest and, neck, upper shoulders, top of the chest, okay? Exhale, we're gonna straighten that right leg, reach forward, try to keep the arms long, try to keep the shoulders down, the chest open, and then just tip. Right hand down, left hand up. Shoulders keep moving back, arms keep reaching away from one another as far as they can. And then we'll take that left hand. You're gonna rotate so your thumb points behind you. Drop that arm behind your back. Ribs move back into that left forearm. Looking up, greater balance challenge. Also more work for your neck. Looking down, usually a better stretch for that left side of the chest and shoulder. 3 slow, easy breaths here. And then you're going to think about your right hand coming off that right shin. Turn your palm up, reach out to come all the way up and back. Rebend that right knee. So now it's like a radiant warrior. Take a breath in here. Exhale, re-straighten that leg. Pick up your right toes, turn them to face forward, and then we're gonna do a forward fold. So this time, instead of a twist in this forward fold, you're really just trying to get as deep into the forward fold as possible. I'm gonna turn sideways. So you kind of bring your hands on the floor. You want your hands parallel. You're gonna rotate your arms and your shoulder sockets, your elbows point back. And then you're just trying to take a little walk with your hands. Think of these elbows kind of like your chaturanga, your low plank elbows. Push into your hands, lift your hips up, drop your head down. 3 big breaths here. And then you're gonna keep your upper body where it is, but you're gonna change your hands. Flip your wrists up so your fingertips are up, and then drop those arms on the back, or the back of the hands on the floor. So there's no work in the arms, and you're just hanging out here. The legs are doing the work to hold you up. And then we're gonna walk our hands back out in front. I'm gonna get back on the mat. We're all just gonna walk our hands back to the top of the mat. Step back, high plank. Big deep breath in here. Exhale, come all the way down to the floor. Uncurl the toes. You're coming onto your elbows. Coming back into your Sphinx pose. Lift your chest, lengthen your spine. Collarbones are wide. Take a couple easy breaths here. And then from this Sphinx, we're gonna come up into a plank, either with knees or without. So you're gonna shift one hand back, then the other. See, my hands are right near the bottom ribs. Elbows come in towards one another. So the knee down version, you're gonna push into the floor, exhale up, knee down plank. The knee up version, lift those knees, press back, exhale, downward dog. I gave book, not downward dog. This is plank. Then we're going downward dog. Inhale here. Exhale, let the breath out. Good, we're gonna inhale, lift your left foot up behind. Exhale, step that left foot all the way forward. Inhale, come up into your lunge. Exhale, we're gonna open up, face the long side, warrior 2. Bring hands to your hips. Again, see where your hips are in space. We want to keep those hips kind of not letting it drop down, because we're actually going to shift forward and we're going to bring left forearm onto left thigh. And it's really easy to dump down into this leg. I want you to keep thinking about the left hip lifting up, the right hip pulling back into a side angle. Right arm's going to sweep overhead. Palm faces down on that top arm, so you can even sweep it this way. Inhale, come back up to warrior 2. Exhale, just straighten that front leg. We're gonna go into a half moon. Forgot to give a warning about props. So you might wanna put this left hand on a block, or you might wanna position yourself near a couch or an ottoman or something. From here, the left hand comes forward and it finds either the ground or whatever you're holding on to, and you're gonna lift that right foot up. So you're trying to get that right hip and the right heel in line. So my leg's parallel to the floor. I'm lifting my right hip up towards the sky. Right hand on the right hip. Looking up is harder to balance. Looking down, better neck stretch. Play with that. If you don't want to use your left hand to balance, maybe you reach it out, kind of how we did on that triangle pose. Oh, I might lose my balance. We're all going to gracefully come back into that radiant warrior. So bend your left knee, float back, land the right foot. Inhale, sweep the left arm up overhead. Exhale, straighten the left leg, bring the hand down, turn those left toes to face the same direction as the right. Forward fold again. Interlace your fingers. Drop your head towards the floor. Your choice, knuckles go up, or they just kind of stay and hang out on your back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release the hands. Let's just walk the hands back to the right foot. Lift the left heel. We're going to inhale up, high lunge. Exhale, open up. Warrior two. Maybe scan the area over here, knowing that you need to put your hand on something, possibly for that next half moon. Both hips are lifting. We're just going to come into side angle. Right elbow on the right thigh. Inhale, sweep the left arm overhead, palm facing down. Notice if you collapse, keep that nice long line. So like think about the angle here. It's my head, my hips, and that back foot are all in line. Maybe even my hand too. Good, take a big deep breath in here. And then we're just gonna transition right into that balance. So left hand on the hip, look down, little scooch of that left leg forward. Right hand's gonna find the floor or the whatever furniture is towards the back of your mat. Check out your left leg. It's hard to see on yourself. Oh, but maybe you might be able to see it if you've got your screen on. Is that left leg parallel to the floor? Could you pull that left hip up in space? The left shoulders up in space? Looking up, greater balance challenge. Looking down, nicer neck stretch. More core stability would be to take that right hand off the floor, flip your palm, reach it out in front of you. Wherever everyone is, you're gonna slowly, that wasn't slowly, I totally dropped myself, pull yourself back into that radiant warrior. Good, take a nice big deep breath in here. Exhale, come up to stand. Turn right toes to face the same direction as left toes. Forward fold, make it like a rag doll. Knees are bent. Kind of let your butt drop back. Maybe take a little shake side to side. Woo, and then we'll just walk ourselves back up to the top of the mat. Step back, left leg. Take a nice big deep breath in here. Exhale, come all the way to the ground. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead on your hands. Lift your feet. Windshield wiper side to side. Put your feet back down on the floor. One more of these kind of belly down backward bends. So we've got a lot of options. You can just hang out in this Sphinx pose if you'd like. If you'd like to make it bigger and kind of press into the ground, think of it more like if you ever do yin, they call it seal pose versus our cobra pose, which is kind of very energetic and lifting up. Seal's kind of hanging out. You're thinking about letting your belly drop down as your chest lifts up, as long as this feels okay on your back. And then go ahead and bring yourself all the way back to the ground. Push into the floor. Shift yourself back. Coming into child's pose again. Maybe for this child's pose, knees wide, feet close. Walk your hands forward. Take a moment, come onto your fingertips. Little TP, tenting the hands, press down into the fingertips. Draw your triceps towards the ground. Notice that space between the shoulder blades. Take a big, deep breath there. And then exhale, let it out as you lower your hands back to the floor. And then we'll walk our hands back in. And you're just going to shift yourself up. Drive your legs over to one side. And then extend your legs out long. Actually, we'll just keep the right knee bent. Extend your left leg out long. Right foot can be on the floor, or you can hop it over your legs. Sit up tall. Drop your shoulders down. A nice big hug. Rotate towards the right. Lift your chest, lengthen your spine. You can keep doing this little like left leg hug, or you can bring your left knee to the outside of the right leg. Breathe. Again, just like the balance poses, looking back or looking forward will change your sensation in this pose. So do whatever feels better in your body right now. And then we're going to do a little counter twist. So keep that right leg right where it is. Take your right arm, wrap it around the knee, left hand behind you, twist left, look over the left shoulder. And then back to center. Right leg's long, left knee comes in. Possibly hop it over the leg, sit up tall. Right arm wraps around the left knee. Lengthen the spine. Either keep this hug, or you're going to cross the elbow over the knee. And then breathe here. And then counter twist. Keep the legs as they are. Left arm wraps around left knee. Twist right. Sit up tall. Shoulders relax. Back to center. Uncross your legs. Scoot yourself forward so that you can lie all the way down onto your mat. And let's start with feet together, knees out to the side. So just coming into a bound angle, Baddha Konasana. If you feel that your low back really arches up off the floor, try to find a neutral position. Some people like to put blankets or something underneath your knees or blocks. And then just bring your arms out to the side, palms face up. 3 breaths here. Press your feet together. And imagine as you're pressing your feet together that you can draw your knees apart out to the side. You should feel more work around the hips when you activate like that. Feet press in, knees pull out. We're going to take our hands, interlace your fingers, flip your palms. Lift your palms up to the sky. Keep your shoulders moving down. We're going to take a slow, deep breath. And as you exhale, really super slow, little curl up here. Try not to let your knees come up. You're going to keep pressing your feet together, drawing your knees out to the side. Hands reach towards the toes, breath in, and then exhale with control, come back to that starting position. We'll just do 2 more of those, kind of a slow-mo crunch or roll up, if you will. Breath in to prepare. Keep the shoulders moving away from the ear. Keep space between your chin and your throat. Roll up. Once you're up, take a breath in. With control, exhale, roll back. Arms stay long. Shoulders stay broad. Breath in to prepare. Exhale, roll up. Keep space between the chin and the throat. Press through those hands. Hold. Hover here for the breath in. And then exhale, go ahead, roll yourself back. Release your arms. Bring your feet apart. Knees up. And you're going to walk your feet as wide as your mat. Hug your knees in towards one another. You might even pigeon toe your feet in a little bit. Heels are wide. Just kind of feeling that as a counter to letting the knees go out. Now I want you to squeeze your knees together, press your feet into the floor. We're going to bring the arms up overhead again. Do the opposite lineup of fingers. Flip the palms. Take a nice breath in here. As you exhale, you're going to lift those shoulders off the ground. Try to bring your thumbs towards your thighs. Breath in once you're up. With control, exhale, lower down. It's only 6 ab exercises that we're doing today. We're just doing them very slowly. Breath in to prepare. Exhale, lift the shoulders up. Keep that space between chin and throat and just little round. Really small with control. Hands are coming towards the thighs, pressing towards the knees. Inhale up here. Exhale, roll back down. Last one. Big deep breath in. Exhale, press your hands up. Then start to lower them towards the knees. And you're pressing the torso towards the knees. Inhale once you get there. Exhale with control, come down. Release your arms out to the side. Bring your feet to hips width distance and just take a little rock from side to side. Where did the time go today? After you windshield wiper your knees a little bit, bring them into the chest. Give your body a squeeze. And then slowly extend the legs. Coming into your Shavasana, your final resting pose. You might want to put something under the knees or under the head. If you've got furniture around and it feels good to kind of throw your calves on the back of an ottoman or on the top of an ottoman or a couch, go ahead and do that. Invite a little movement into your bodies. Wiggle fingers, toes, wrists, and ankles. And draw your knees up into your chest. Give your body a nice big squeeze. And then you're gonna roll all the way over onto your right. Press your left hand into the floor and come on up to sit. Just taking a few breaths once you get up there. Feeling space in the body, making little adjustments if you need to. We'll inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, bring the hands through heart center. Bow yourself down. Sealing in all of your practice. We'll end here. Namaste. Thanks, everyone.